What's up YouTube, BossJacoby here with episode 3 of my basic training series, and today it's Havana Capture the Flag. Now really quick, I did redesign my whole layout, the overlay, that whole part, and I think it's a lot better, so leave a comment with your feedback on that. I also excluded the breakout strategy segment just because it's CTF and it's not really as relevant as it is in a game mode like Domination where it's a race to get B. But I did include 2 new things, so hope you enjoy that. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with the basic map breakdown segment, the first one, and I hope you guys enjoy. Peace. Alright guys, welcome to the basic map breakdown of Havana Capture the Flag. Those 2 blue stars indicate flag locations. Next, on the left, highlighted in green is White Alley. Designated by the blue area, Middle Alley runs all the way from the top of the map to the bottom of it, and is typically the most dangerous one to enter. Finally, on the right, highlighted in red is Red Alley. Now, you guys really need to study, and I know it's pretty basic, but you guys really need to understand and make sure your team understands the names for these 3 alleys, because when the opponents take your flag, there's nothing worse than stuttering and not being able to explain where they took the flag. So these 3 alleys provide a very general, very basic, and quick call out to your team to explain where the opponents did just that. Anyways guys, let's move on to the in-game spawns. Hey guys, welcome to the spawn segment of this video. This first screen shows the 2 beginning spawns on this map for Capture the Flag. This next overlay has a lot of things going on, so let me take a moment to explain what it all means. The key on the top left illustrates that blue stars are the beginning spawns. Red stars, wall and jungle, are the main or most common spawns, and green stars, white and fountain, are the secondary spawns, ones that won't come into play unless under specific circumstances. I included the black lines to designate which in-game spawns happen on each side. For example, you won't spawn at jungle unless you started that side off at the Tropus spawn point. Alright guys, so now that we have all the spawns laid out, I want to go over the secondary spawns, and I just want to make this brief. So basically, the only way you'll spawn at one of these secondary spawns is if the opponents are in your main spawn. So if you spawn at white, they're going to be in jungle. If you spawn at fountain, they're going to be on revolution wall or just wall. So just bear in mind when you do spawn here, you should already kind of know where the opponents are just based on the location that you spawn at. Anyways guys, let's move on to the grenade section and then the hotspots. Alright guys, welcome to the grenade segment of this video. Today I'll only be explaining 2 grenades from 2 of the main spawns, jungle and wall. The first one here at wall is when you run down the white alley and throw a grenade over 2 buildings and it lands right on the flag. Now this is extremely useful if the opponents are maybe just about to cap the flag, and you can pick them off right before and then get the return. This next grenade is from jungle spawn, and it lands up when the flag is by op 4, and you just throw it over from red alley. You throw it over 2 buildings. Just be careful because that building can get in the way. If you throw too much to the right, it will get blocked. So just throw it and it lands right on that building and drops down right on the flag. And again, you can get the return if you kill him right before. Alright guys, so one of the main differences between this episode and the previous 2 episodes is that I want to separate the spawn trapping spots from the hotspots, because a lot of times hotspots don't mean that you're going to be watching spawns. They could just be really good spots that somebody will almost always be in. So I want to kick it off with the spawn trapping spots, and then of course I'll get into the hotspots. Alright guys, so this first hotspot is behind this red wall, just looking into jungle. Here's a view from first person, and then here's a view of what the enemies are looking at when you're in that spot. Alright guys, so here's the second spawn trapping spot. You jump up on yellow dumpster with a clear line of sight into wall spawn, and here's the point of view of the enemies when you're up there. Now we're going to go ahead and move on over to hotspots, so let's get started. Alright guys, welcome to the hotspots segment of this video. There's only about 4 hotspots on this map that you really need to pay attention for. So the first one right here is Fountain. The second is Bar. The third is top red. And then the fourth is top white. Alright guys, let's move on to the setup, our perfect setup, or the setup that you guys want to try and employ the most during a game of Havana Capture the Flag. Alright guys, welcome to the setup portion of this video, the most extensive and elaborate and detailed one in this episode, and this is actually something I didn't include in the episode 1 and 2 because the setups in domination don't really they don't really stay the same, they're not constant, and in CTF this is something that you can apply to every single game of Havana that you play. This is where you guys want to be at all times. So the screen you're looking at right there, I included the grab and defend just to illustrate which side you're on, and I will be going over the other side once I finish this one. So the three blue stars indicate where 3 of your teammates should be. The 4th teammate is the objective player, so he can be wherever he wants, and I will be getting into the routes in just a moment. So the 3 blue stars indicate one guy should be in bar, one guy should be on fountain watching flag room, and one guy should be top red watching wall spawn. However, he can always push up on the yellow dumpster, which is a spot that I showed you earlier to watch that spawn as well. Now, the reason you want to set up this way is because you have the guy in bar watching the cutoff of white alley. Then you have the guy on fountain watching if anyone tries to come up behind your flag runner and kill him while he's taking the flag. Now again, I'll show you the best route, but it is through that room, and actually the guy in fountain's watching his back perfectly. The third guy that's top red again is just trying to spawn trap him, just trying to put some fire down on the enemies, calling out where they're going. Are they going white, up the middle, stuff like that, so that your guy in bar knows what to expect. Alright guys, let's go on over to the other side. Alright guys, so you can see that the grab and defend has switched. So anyways, these blue stars indicate once again where your 3 teammates should be set up. You're going to want to have one guy bottom white watching the cutoff at bar. You're going to want another guy pushed up in the spawn trap spot I showed you earlier that watches jungle. And you're going to want your third guy top red or even bottom red just kind of patrolling, making sure that the guy pushed up watching jungle doesn't let anyone slip by. Because the last thing you want is to have your flag runner take the flag all the way back to your base and then be shot just a few feet from capping it. Now the reason you want your team set up this way is by heavily populating the red alley, you're preventing the opposing team from grabbing your flag and running it that way, which is the easiest way for them to take it. Now the reason you want your guy, or the main reason you want your guy over in bottom white watching bar is so that, as I mentioned earlier, they don't spawn at their secondary spawn, which is right in front of them. You definitely don't want the spawns to switch, and by keeping them trapped in jungle, you can definitely keep capping flags. And again, let me move on into the route segment of this video right now and give you guys a better understanding of where and when to run it. Alright guys, welcome to the flag route segment of this video. I'm going to be showing one flag route for each side, and this is actually from a competitive GB match. You see I grab the flag and run it right through fountain across red alley, and actually what I like to do, which not a lot of people do, is I go up top here. Now you notice my teammate Andrew died, and because this is a doubles match, no other teammate is alive. So I took out that guy, and then with the flag cap right on top of your head, the little flag kill sign, it doesn't refresh every second. So I knew I could catch the opponents off guard enough to get that flag cap before they ever understood where I was going. Alright guys, so here's the flag route for the other side, and this is the quickest one when your team is really set up. Now keep in mind there are very many variations depending on whether or not your team is at a certain location, because a lot of times you know, the opponent might have snuck by, you guys might have known that, so you're going to have to alter your route accordingly. And right here is kind of a good example. I died. This is actually Andrew's point of view. You saw that Andrew killed this guy, and now he's taking it white. He wants to take it bottom white, and he just runs straight across. The reason for that is because I called out that I had the guy, and you see I did kill him right there. And running it straight across white, or actually straight across middle alley, let him capture the flag very quickly. So that's the fastest one, and when your team's set up, that's the best one. Alright guys, before I get into the last segment, which is classes for Slayer and Objective, I just want to show you guys what not to do. So pay attention to where the enemies are, or the enemy is rather. He's camping back, watching his flag. Please guys, never watch your flag. It just doesn't make sense. You'll see in my setups that we're not watching our flag. We're pushed up too far and spawn trapping them too well to the point where they can't even grab our flag. And if they do, we're set up too well to where they can't even run it by us. So it's a better idea to just set up properly rather than have a guy camp back, because as you saw, when I killed the guy that was camping, it's an easy flag cap, guys. So anyways, let's move on to the classes. Alright guys, welcome to the final segment of this episode 3 of Basics Training, Havana Capture the Flag. So in this last segment, I'm going to go over my the classes that I prefer for both objective roles